Hello and welcome to another episode of Hope Amplified. This is Sean Gaylord here with my compadre and fellow bandmate, Meghan Lawson. Meghan, how are you doing?
I'm battling a little bit of a cold, but I'm doing well. How about you?
Hey, I'm hanging in there. I'm recovering from Thanksgiving and all the tryptophan and the fun stuff, and I'm very grateful that we are here together with our friend Dr. Brandi Godino Brotherton. We are so happy to have Brandi you here, award-winning leader, former principal of a Leaf Early College High School in the Houston area, and currently, and I know it's a mouthful, the director of advanced academics and post-secondary outcomes. Did I get it all?
You got it. Good job. I know that's a mouthful for
It
sure.
is. It is. How long is that business card of yours? Do you have it all I mean, does it go like two? You have two business cards for
I
one?
just put advanced academics, but that's really the smallest piece of the job.
I don't
Absolutely.
think I even know what it all means. It just sounds really important.
It does. It sounds important, doesn't it? That's what matters.
Well, Brandy, we are grateful that you are here with us. You are one who has a very vigorous and vital and robust social media presence, and I'm very grateful that I am in the PLN with you, and you are someone for us who exemplifies hope. This whole podcast is all about the art and the science of hope, and I guess to kind of kick things off, as Megan has kind of taught me, from the book Hope Rising. The operating definition of hope is that we're using here is that hope is the belief that your future can be brighter and better than your past, and that you actually have a role to play in it and to make it happen. For you, what is hope? What is kind of your definition of hope?
Well, whenever I think about hope, and I think about hope in the realm of work that we do, right? It is just being able to walk into this space and see our teachers and our kids defy the odds every day. And to see them put in the work and begin to believe in themselves. I worked in a Title I school for 21 years, right? And so being able to see them move from one space of really just poverty and despair into this realm of, I think I believe in myself and I think I can do this. And I think I'm going to put in the work to make it happen. And then to see them move outside of our schoolhouses and go into this world and be successful is a reward of hope and instilling hope in them that really is beyond words.
Hmm, that's beautiful. I greatly appreciate how you frame that, and one of the things that I really appreciate about your leadership, and it's one of the things that kind of drew me into the PLN, is you have this just artful way of expressing your truth and motivating your students. There's a lot of clips of you, where you're in the classroom, whether or in the cafeteria or in the hallway, and you're very in your past role as principal, very intentional about your words and how you uplift students. And I'd love for you to kind of talk a little bit more about that, and how you've weaved that into your daily practice.
So I believe that really just believing in people inspires them to be better, right? And so whether it was my teachers or my kids in the actual physical school building or outside, I always just try to ensure that they know that if no one else in this world believes in them, I do. And it's a genuine belief, because one thing about kids and teachers is that if you are not being honest and truthful and genuine, they will know and they will call you out immediately. And so it's really just helping them to see that someone else believes in them, because someone had to believe in me. Someone had to believe in us, right? At some point when we didn't believe in ourselves. And so I find so often that the biggest issue is that our kids already have everything in them that they need to be successful. They just don't know it. And so when they feel and they see that belief, they see that positivity, they see that this person that looks like them, because about 85% of our district is Hispanic. And so when they see this individual who looks like them be successful and believe in them, it gives them just a little bit of self-validation. And with that validation, they can soar. And so I really just try to behave a certain way, whether I'm at home, whether I'm at work, whether I'm out in public, in a way that when people look at me, they see light, right? And they see this light, and hopefully they can catch just a little spark. And when they catch that spark, now they can ignite greatness within themselves. I really just try to operate like that in everything that I do.
As you think about the shift that you've made from being a principal to being in a district office role, um, what have what have been some of the changes that you've experienced or the different moves that you've made to ignite sparks in this role versus the principalship?
Right. And so whenever I transitioned over, so shortly after we were named a blue ribbon school, a national blue ribbon school, a lot of different opportunities started coming my way right within the realm of public education in my district and out. And I knew I wanted to stay in my district because of the connections over the past 22 years, not only with the students, but with the parents. And so in this role, while typically I'm able to connect deeply with teachers and with students, now I've had the opportunity to connect at a, I guess, broadened level with principals. We have 42 schools in our district. So, really being able to connect with those 42 principals, but also being able to connect on a deeper level with families, right? So when we talk about post-secondary, that's life after high school. This starts in the cradle. This starts when our kids are born in our community, right? Like, how do we get them to have this belief the second they step foot into our buildings that they are capable of anything that their mind can dream? And it also starts with the parents. And so I really, in this role, had the opportunity to talk to parents, to help instill in them a little bit of belief. Many of them don't speak English. Many of them are not from America at all. And so there's such a lack of understanding of the opportunities that are in front of them, in their kids' hands, if only they'll take advantage of them. And so I feel like just giving the parents a little bit of hope that, listen, if you will just bring your kids to us every day, we're going to love them, we're going to keep them safe, and we're going to put them in a position that when they walk out of our doors in 18 years, they're going to be successful. And so I really feel like that's been the transition in moving from the campus and having this light in the campus and moving it into the community.
It's beautiful. And I've heard people say, that we don't have an achievement gap, we have an opportunity gap. And that's what
Absolutely.
I hear you speaking to is ensuring that everybody has that opportunity to light their spark and be successful beyond high school.
Mhm. For sure.
I am so blown away and inspired by this notion of the light and being a former high school English teacher. I very much appreciate the analogy of light and hope and giving voice to that and being not only a physical manifestation of this light, but also being very intentional, um about how you move and weave for kids. How do you do that same move as a leader for the adults, for teachers, paraprofessionals? It's one thing I know Megan has talked about in the past about, you know, building that hope for, sometimes we leap over the adults to the kids, and there is a time and place for that, but often we forget about the adults, or the adults get lost in the translation. So how do you do that as a leader?
So, as a leader, I think the primary, I guess, idea that whenever you say, how do you do that for leaders? I just have this standard of expectations that are for everyone, right? Like my standard is excellence in everything that we do. And I feel like so often as leaders, we try to separate love and accountability, right? I don't separate love and accountability. I think it's this tightrope that as leaders, we have to walk. We have to love people fiercely, and we love them by holding them accountable. And
Mm,
people respect you whenever you hold them accountable. And it doesn't mean they're always going to agree with you. It doesn't mean things are always going to be perfect. But what it means is that we are on this mission together. And I know that you love and care about me. Therefore, I will do anything for you. And as the principal, my teachers would say, Dr. B, she's crazy. Like, she's really crazy. She has this standard of that is for everyone, right? But I know this woman loves me at the end of the day. So I'm going to trust whatever it is that she's asking me to do, because I know that it is for the betterment of our school. It's for the betterment of our kids, and it's going to make me a better teacher and a better person. And I feel like when you get to that level with people, the opportunities are just endless, right? Because there's this just environment of joy that is coupled with these successes that you experience. And honestly, that's the only reason we're able to achieve the things that we achieve. And people will ask, like, Dr. B, hey, what is your greatest accomplishment? And we have this blue ribbon school, we have this model school, we are the number one Title I performing school in the entire state of Texas.
mm,
But that would never be what I say. Like, that would never be my answer to what is your greatest accomplishment. My greatest accomplishment would always be creating an environment that teachers and kids alike want to come, and where teachers can be successful in their craft because of that environment, and our kids are successful because of that environment.
mm. Wow. That's a rewindable moment right there. That's a keynote in and of itself, Brandy. Wow. I'm like ready to move to Houston. I don't I'm like
I
fired up right now.
I love that you pair, and you talked about that tightrope walk, but that you pair love and accountability. I think you're right. It's too often that people will say, "Well, I'm about relationships," or "I'm about the work," as if they're two separate things. And I love Maya Angelou's definition of accountability. She says, "I'm counting on you, counting on me." And it's this sort of, togetherness, that we hold each other to that same standard and that we achieve things together. And people want to be a part of greatness.
I do.
And you're creating an environment that people want to be a part of and that they're proud of. And that feels really special, especially given some of the challenges that you face in the community that you serve. So I do hope people tuned in and rewind and listen to that, because I think you did give us a nice TED talk on what it means to be a true leader.
Brandy, when this airs, and right now we're coming off of Thanksgiving. We're going into winter break, soon after, and for many school systems and schoolhouses across the country, this is halftime. And there are leaders, there are teachers, right now, who do not have a sense of hope. There are probably folks right now who have pressed play and download on this episode, and hopefully thank you, and hopefully on the series, and double thank you, that are looking for an answer, or are looking for a sense of hope. And for somebody in your role, in just the 5 minutes that I just engage in this conversation, I'm like fired up. Like this is the medicine that I need right now, being a practicing principal. But for those who are struggling right now, what would you say to those school leaders right now who are like, yeah, that's great, Brandy. I wish I can build an environment, but I've got 17 deadlines. That's great, Randy. I'm a new principal, and no one likes me. That's great, Brandy. But I don't I'm down seven teachers because of whatever. My school will never get out of the achievement or opportunity gap. So what's your message to that struggling leader right now that's just in it?
I think whenever we think about struggling leaders, right, we've all been there. Like that has been me. I'm sure that has been y'all at some point where you're just at your wits' end of how to even move into the next day. But what I would like to say to those leaders is hang on. Like on the other side of this cloud is the light that we continue to talk about. And nothing in life worth having is easy.
Hmm.
So we have to continue to fight this good fight because honestly, the lives of our kids are at stake. The lives of our future is at stake. And so we really have to dig down deep inside of us and know that we were built for this challenge. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting in this seat. And so we have been placed in this seat, in this moment for a reason. And that reason is not for ourselves. It is to be able to pour what we have into others so that they can then go out and share the greatness that they received in our presence. And like, I've heard this word legacy over and over again throughout my life. We hear this word legacy. And legacy for me is not how I make people feel, right? Like we can all make people feel good about themselves. We can all make people feel a certain way. I want people's lives to be different because of the presence that they that because of my presence. I want people's lives to be different because when they were around me, they saw something that made them different. And
Hmm.
so when we think about struggling leaders, think about the legacy that you are leaving that really is changing lives from now until forever. When you're not here, people will be different because of you. And whenever you have that hope, that's circling back to hope, it helps you to press forward.
That's beautiful. So when we think about the three components of hope, goals, pathways, so multiple ways to get there, and then the agency or the resilience it takes to push past that cloud and find the light on the other side. What's a practical strategy that comes to mind in any of those three areas that is part of your legacy work and your daily moves that you're making around others?
Well, I think that we often want someone to be able to just give us this worksheet that has the answers to everything. Like, I want this culture in my building to be amazing where we can all come in here and we can be successful. And I want you to just tell me what the answer is to that, right? But clearly, that isn't how it works. I think there's several small things that lead to this bigger success. Belief is one, absolutely. Validation is another. Leading by example and modeling what you want and hope to see. And the one of the biggest, I think, is just present, just showing up. Show up for people. show up for them, whether it is for work or whether it's in their personal life. Be who you say you are, whether it's inside or outside of school. And through this, these relationships form, and we're then able to effectively communicate. And we can begin this cycle of continuous improvement that leads to success. So I don't think there's necessarily just one thing that drives the success. It's a culmination of multiple things that if you can just do one, right? People are always like, how do you have this capacity to do all of these things? And I always say, choose one thing that you're committed to, not that you buy into, but that you're committed to. Because when you buy into something, you can buy in today. And if you're not feeling it, you can buy out tomorrow. But when you commit to something, you believe in it. And then once you begin to believe and you see the results, now you can commit to something else and you can build your capacity to ultimately foster this overarching success.
How do you keep your light ignited? What are the you know, we you know this as leaders, in order for us to pour into others, we've got to pour into ourselves. You know, whether it's exercise, reading, music, cats, dogs, whatever it may be. So how do you keep your light illuminated in such a way, in taking care of you?
So I would say that my family and being very involved with my daughter and my husband's a high school basketball coach. So I automatically, he's a head girls high school basketball coach at that. So I'm able to really, I guess, keep myself in the space of kids, whether I like it or not, because of his job. And so that's always rewarding. And my daughter, just being able to follow her around and to be an example for her keeps me going every day. And also, believe it or not, my alarm goes off at 3:30 every morning, every weekday morning, and I am at the gym by 4 o'clock every single morning, Monday through Friday. Um, Really just taking care of my physical body that in turn helps my mental state be what it needs to be for our kids, our teachers, our community. And people think I'm crazy, right? They're like, how do you get you're if you make it to the gym in the threes, I'm done with you. But really, then that in turn helps me to go to bed at night, right? Because I know I have to get up. And so it's a cycle really of just the expectation of health. And so those are just a few things that I do to take care of myself.
Well, Dr. B, you are not crazy, because I'm a 4 o'clock
See
gym
you there.
person. Yes. So and it's the best gift
It is.
that you can give to yourself in the day. And it's I wouldn't have it any other way. So you're not alone. And then also, again, I love always finding connections. You know, I saw Megan's eyes light up when you mentioned your husband being a high school basketball coach. Well, Megan's husband is a college basketball coach. So you all just y'all are you're best friends, you know.
Yes, and I'm also a gym rat, so I feel very at home
Yes.
here.
Yes, you do. You are.
But what I love about what you're saying is, too often I think we lean into, well, I need to be motivated, but what it's actually discipline that keeps us moving forward. It's not necessarily motivation. And when you were talking before about, pick a thing, whatever the thing is, do the one thing and commit to it. I recently had the pleasure, maybe about a month ago, of listening to Dr. John Hattie speak, and he was asking the crowd, is it action first or belief? Like what needs to come first? And about half the room was about 50-50 divided on that. But he said it really is action that comes first and the beliefs will follow. And so that's what I hear you saying. A great way to keep that spark, that light is you said keep moving forward. Keep in the action. And hope is actually it's action. I think that's the thing that a lot of us miss about hope is we think it's just a feeling, but it's what we do that inspires belief that tomorrow can be better. Because once we see that little flicker of something like, ooh, what my behavior mattered. That's why training at 3:30 a.m. is a great way to set your tone for your day, training yourself up to say like, wow, like I'm getting stronger, my actions matter. And then you go and you carry that into your work and then you carry that into your family. So I just think that's a really beautiful reminder to all of us that you don't have to do everything, but do something and
Absolutely.
keep doing something.
Love it. So true. So true.
What's next for you? I'm just curious because you are a TED Talk waiting to happen. You are a book waiting to happen. I'm manifesting all of this. Uh, I mean, I mean, there has to be like a Brandy app, like a Peloton app that, I mean, really, you just have so much to give, and your light is so contagious. I mean, hope is contagious. So I'm just curious. I know your plate is very full, but any projects or presentations in the works?
Yeah, so I actually my book is in editing with Code Breakers actually. Right now, Culture Catalyst, how basically culture can really drive student achievement and teacher retention. That's kind of what it's about. I also am in works with one of my very good friends, Steve Goltzer. We are writing a book on emotional intelligence and the impact that it has, not just in schools, but in organizations across all all venues. And so working on that, I've done some consulting. I'm currently doing some leadership consulting as we speak and working with principals across the nation to drive their work and to help them better understand the impact that they personally have on the outcomes of their school. And so, working on a few things right now that will hopefully be seen to full fruition in the near future.
Wow. Well, I know, congratulations on the upcoming book with Code Breakers. I do remember, forgive me for forgetting that because I remember seeing you post something about that months ago, and I'm looking forward to that and your continued work and impact for principals. So, I definitely will be ordering this upcoming book and then the book after on emotional intelligence. That is amazing.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited about everything that you just said. I want all the books. I want to see all the consulting. I
Yes.
just what a privilege it is for us to share space with you today and for everyone listening to learn from you as a leader.
Thank you so much.
Brandy, if folks do want to follow you, and again, as I mentioned, you have such a robust and meaningful presence in social media, very much akin to the Peloton trainers and app. I mean, it really is life affirming and motivating. How can folks connect and follow with you?
On X, I am Brand Brotherton. On Instagram, I am Brandi Brotherton. And on Facebook, Brandi Brotherton, the Culture Queen. Or you can find me at www.theculturequeenllc.com.
Nice. And then also in some of those videos, if I am not mistaken, there's a few dance moves that if I yes, Megan, you got to check this out. Like there's a few line dances with students and TikTok-esque. I mean,
Are, that I missed that. So whenever we went to DC for our Blue Ribbon celebration, several of my teachers came with me and we did one more TikTok at their request, right? They're like, teachers to dance. And I always remind people the TikTok doesn't build the culture. The TikTok is a byproduct of the culture that has already been created.
that's
And
right.
people get that confused lots of times, but your teachers will dance too if you create the right environment.
Beautifully
Well,
stated, beautifully said. That's right. You've got and the consistency and the trust that go along with that. that's another rewindable moment. And Megan, again, I see that those eyes light up as a former dancer.
Again, just another connection that we have. Also, I love that Sean is really pushing this Peloton sponsorship for you. So,
Yeah.
Peloton, if you're listening, we've got a girl for you.
Yes, I'm manifesting this. I mean, Peloton, Brandy. I mean, who we need school leaders in Peloton. So,
I love it. 3:30 a.m. You're gonna hit that class, and she's
Get
gonna help
it.
you light that spark for the day.
well, I will put all of Brandy's information in the show notes, and we will make sure that those links are there for our listeners. So, Dr. Brandi Godino Brotherton, we are so grateful for you. Thank you for the way that the authentic way that you amplify hope in our world and being that light for students and teachers and families and walking that beautifully lit walk and talk of hope for all that are around you. It is contagious, and the world is better because of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for having me. And thank you to everyone. Love y'all.
Likewise. This is Sean Gaylord with Meghan Lawson and our incredible friend Brandi. Thank you for tuning in to Hope Amplified. We hope to continue the conversation with Hope. Follow the hashtag Hope Amplified, and our podcast is on Spotify and Apple. And please feel free to leave us a rating. That always helps and helps us amplify this message, which is so needed in our schoolhouses and districts everywhere. Thanks again for tuning in.